Alright guys, and we're back. Yes, I'm still doing these all on Sunday night, and I'm going to be trying to post them into the late evening, but we're going to take a break after this one and eat dinner. Maybe that'll re-energize me for the next batch of these. But we are up to the green team. Now, we're going to start with the summoners, which I almost forgot to do last video, but no real time to redo these. We'll take the units off the board and we'll hide the... Well, no, we'll leave Chaos Legion in for the summoners. Okay, so this one is very interesting. Now, this one is select one unit to be poisoned or give 2 of your units plus 2 attack. So it's very interesting to see that the green team has the green team, yes, the green team here gets an additional ability now that it gets the ability to select one unit on the board and give it poison instantly. It's kind of like a death sentence for that unit that you pick, or buff 2 of their units with plus 2 attack. This tactic summoner I like a lot. It's basically, is there somebody that I can poison and get off the board? Yes, I'll do that. Is there somebody that I can blow up going with the, with the melee units that needs additional attack, or a unit that looks like it's going to do good work? Let me go ahead and buff that one. Now, I will say any of these cards that let you target multiple characters on your team is going to do something to lineups that might start to work that didn't work in the back, and that's splitting up your team. Before, if you were going sneak, you wanted to go sneak with at least a couple monsters. If you were going opportunity, you wanted at least 2 to 3 opportunity attackers. If you weren't, you wanted everybody focused on the front. If you went snipers, you wanted at least 2, if not 3 snipers. But now, maybe I want a sneak monster, an opportunity monster, a reach monster, and a front row monster. And then I see what the other team has, and I go, ooh, my opportunity monster is going to wreck. Let's give him 2 extra attack. My sneak monster is going to wreck. Let's give them 2 extra attack. Oh, look. He put a front row monster that I can melt pretty fast if I give my reach monster and my front row monster plus 2 attack. So you get to see which one of your monsters is best set up to attack his team and make them stronger. But that only works if you give yourself a sneak, an opportunity, a reach, and a front row tank. Because if not, if all of your monsters are facing the first position, then it doesn't really matter who you give the plus 2 attack from. If everybody is a regular sneak monster, it doesn't matter who gets the plus 2 attack. Maybe for survivability, but it's an interesting idea that these tactics guys are bringing into the board. Now, the other standard Chaos Legion summoners for Modern and Rebellion, you mixed in here the green. We already went over green-red in the red video, so we're not going to touch on that one. But we have green and yellow. And the first video, I brought neutrals into the effect. I'm going to leave those off for these videos. Neutrals are always just going to be little add-ons, but we will do a video reviewing the new neutral monster and what is currently in the meta. Now, Immortalis is probably going to be one of the most impactful early on monsters for the Chaos Legion Rebellion Modern. I just feel like he's a very, very solid card for this team, and he's just going to be much more playable when some of those big untamed ones are out of the meta, especially because Wraith gives armor, and that Shatter is just a nice move because there is a lot of monsters with armor, and Shatter for your whole team is wonderful. Oh man, you could tell I need to eat to wake myself up, right guys? It's only dinner time and I'm already yawning away over here. All right, let's get into the monsters. We're going to go units, we're going to hide the Chaos Legion, and first we're going to do a deep dive into each of these green monsters. Did they get more than the other teams? Oh, I have Summoners still here. I was like, I don't understand. Okay, so we got the Lurking Puffer. Lurking Puffer is an excellent little monster. So, it's interesting here, another example of a 2-cost monster that gets the poison ability but has no ability to attack natively. He obviously needs to be used with a weapons training monster, and so that is his main functionality up here once he gets this poison ability. Before that though, he's just a little, hey, hit me, and you're gonna when a melee unit hits him, that unit does 2 armor damage to the attacker. So that's interesting that he's going to do 2 damage towards their armor of the and their armor is going to be reduced by 2. So basically, he can be a little squishy thing that helps remove armor from a monster that might be trying to get an armor reflect. Later on, you can throw a silence onto him, and then even further into the game, whether it's here in early bronze or here in not late silver, but he becomes more survivable, then more survivable, and then kind of a lot more survivable. So now he's a 2/9. So think of him, he's a little like kind of new version of the Failed Summoner, but not maybe as impactful as Failed Summoner, except for the fact that you can throw him next to with you could throw him behind this guy and he'd be able to attack. Yeah. Let me go ahead and bring Chaos Legion in just for a second. They do have another weapons trainer, I believe. Let me go find him. Here it is. Okay. So you could put the Lurking Puffer next to Ava. And then when it's next to Ava, it would get the full 3 damage that they're capping it at now. And then it would have that poison attack, and you could put it anywhere that you wanted. The other play would be to put it behind this card with Flank. It would gain Reach, and it would gain the melee attack. So it's an interesting play. I like it. You know, little 2-cost tanky cards are always kind of fun. Not bad at all. We get a nice little archer here with the Blackmoor Trickster. He has Reach right away, or close range, I mean. So that's interesting because he's 3 cost. He's not very survivable, but he can attack from the front position. When you get into his stats, all right, you get him. He becomes much more survivable, even in bronze. He picks up a snare, so that's an interesting thing to have. He won't miss those flying monsters. Still only has that 1 attack, though. Continues to get more survivable up here to level 7. Then he loses a little bit of that to gain some attack. Interesting. Is this a mistake? I wonder if they did this on accident. Level 8 to 9 doesn't have any differences. I'll have to point that out to the team. Yeah, no differences from 8 to 9. Usually you gain something. And then at max level, he gains an additional HP. So that's something that we'll have to point out to the team. It could be a mistake. It's not very often that a card goes up and doesn't a level and doesn't gain even 1 HP, one speed, 1 anything. And so something in here should be changing from 8 to 9, and that would mean something would change in his final card possibly. Overall, I'm going to say he doesn't blow me away, but he has his use cases, especially in lower mana matches. All right, let's get to the Ape. So we'll look at the Ape at level 3 to start. He's a Reflection Shield monster, but he normally can't be put anywhere else. This is an interesting card to put in that second position as a with a flanking monster, either to his left or in the first position. And obviously, we already saw that first monster with flank. So as he levels up, he picks up a Scavenge. That's an interesting thing for a monster that's going to be in that second position. He does not hit very hard though, only 2 damage even at level 5. At level 7 he gets a 3rd damage, and then he actually gets all the way up to 5 damage by level 8. So that's very, very interesting. I have to say that overall, here at this highest level, he's definitely an interesting card. I don't love him though, because your front row tank having a Reflection Shield, I mean, only if you're in a blast game where you're going to put him in the front position and have a taunting monster in the second position, does that make any sense? Now, their summoners, do they have life? Oh, they do have life. Okay, that makes a little more sense now. I'll tell you what I'm thinking of already. You put him in the first position. You put Izzar in the second position. Then Izzar is taking that damage. Even if it's getting blasted, he's blocking it. And then he's going to get martyred up. So that's pretty interesting. Here we have a card with the Lookout ability. Obviously, with the new Ambush ability being pretty strong, the Lookout cards have their place. That'll make it so during the Lookout phase, they do half damage, and then they also will help protect you from sneak monsters and opportunity monsters, really wrecking your day and killing your little tiny utility monsters. As he levels, he never gains a second magic. He does gain a void. That's interesting. Obviously, he does have the summoner that can give him additional 1 magic damage. Having a void protects him from being able to have magic damage bounce back at him and kind of killing him very early. Mostly, this guy looks like a defensive card, where really you're going to be playing him more for the Lookout ability than his ability to go and kill anybody. All right. Let's go here. Overall, I have to say the green card's not super exciting through the first couple. Here's one that's a little bit better. So we got a 5-cost sniper here who's camouflaged, has a cripple, and gives a strengthen. It's a sniper with cripple early on, camouflage sniper in the middle of the game. Camouflage snipers are very interesting. And then at the late game, it also picks up a strengthen, and then it never does more than 3 damage. It doesn't do piercing damage. It does pick up some additional HP, but it's camouflage, so that's kind of blah. I don't really need it. Still, though, sniper cards can be fun. They can help you with sniper lineups. And it's camouflage, which is definitely an interesting add-on. The Blackmore, so we have another 3-cost mage here. So at max level, you get a mage with a snare and a dispel with 3 and 7 and 2. Yeah, that's a good card. It's a good solid card. At low level, you get an immunity. Oh no, that's not dispel, that's immunity. Oh, so it's like a poison. Okay, I like immunity cards with a snare, magic snare. Well, I guess magic snare is nice because you're not going to miss that flying magic monsters. Okay. As you can tell, these ones, I'm yawning a lot more on this one. Okay, so we got a nice True Strike. Slow. 3, 2, 6, 1 True Strike Archer. All right, it's interesting. It gains Affliction later on. It's always slow. You know, green already had one of the better reverse speed teams. So it's just getting another good, strong card for its reverse speed team. Also, they do have Fernheart, so we do have to remember that any of these archers could be used in a lineup where they can attack from the front. So that's also why these high HP archers matter a little more. All right, we go into here. Let's take a look here. We got, what is this, Leo Saros? That's how I'm going to say it. So you got a Thorns monster. All right, so you got a Thorns tank on a team that has Queen Massilia. They're losing Mylor, so this is kind of an interesting add-on. Decent attack, armor, health, kind of slow. Not until gold does it pick up trample. It picks up its 3rd attack very early on, even in for silver. So it's 3 attack. It's 3 attack with trample in gold, and then 4 attack with trample in the highest levels. Also, it ends up all the way up here at 9/9. So that's a very, very interesting card there. Kind of interesting, though, that it's, again, its own summoner would have the shatter that would affect that. All right, here we go with your weapons trainer for the green team. So now he's a flanking weapons training with heal. So again, you could put him in the first position, but it's kind of interesting because it almost is, if you're going to run that card, you almost have to run the Lurking Puffer or one of the other non-attacking cards that you can combo with green in that second position. Otherwise, you're not taking advantage of his weapons training ability, and then he's probably not worth playing. So that's an interesting card. I don't know if I love that, but maybe this is just such a potent combo that'll work. Now when we go into their other epic card, we get ourselves another archer with Lookout and an archer with heal. Now, healing archers on a green team that already has maging archers is actually awesome because you already have goblin psychic, and now if for some reason you can't use mages, you can still have a tank on the board. To add in the fact that it has the lookout ability to help it not die as quickly from sneak monsters or opportunity monsters in the back row, that is an excellent utility card. All right, let's go to the legendaries. So right here, you've got yourself a nice armor striking last standing monster. Okay, so that's a very interesting thing. Green gets a new last standing mage with Kron moving out of the game, but it's maybe not as impactful. The 2 magic damage, 3 speed, 2 armor, 11. It doesn't have a self heal, and it doesn't have last stand early. So early in the game, it's just going to have the 2 strikes where it hits 1 magic, 1 armor, then 1 magic, 1 armor, and then right here it's going to hit 2 and 1. It's very interesting though. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting to see because in the back row where he can't be targeted, that armor will stay there and he'll get to hopefully keep doing that armored strike. Also, Queen Massilia can move his armor up to 3 and obviously some of the other additional armor cards. Now here's one of our bigger legendary cards with a 12 cost. So you got an early game Affliction when you had an early game Thorns tank. So that's a combo that you can do with him, even if you don't have, say, a Queen Massilia, who's an expensive card in the back end from the other sets. And then you have Scavenge. So a big mage with Scavenge, so that's interesting. So when he goes up to the front, he gets a Rust, so you can take away armor. So that's interesting. Now him and Queen Massilia would be a double Rust. And then he picks up at the end a final magic. So he does 4 magic. It's just a solid, good mage for the team. I like mages with Scavenge. I like big cards with Scavenge. I like big cards with Amplify. I like that card a lot. To say, none of these cards blow me away. When you add in the Chaos Legion cards, though, like I said here, you have your Goblin Psychic, you still have your Pelacor Mercenary. There's definitely some interesting plays here. I would have liked to see them pick up Flank on a different monster other than a melee monster, because I'd like him to be able to give reach to somebody else. I mean, it is kind of interesting. You can put Cror like in front with Grund behind him, and even though it doesn't use weapon straining at all, it does give Grund reach, so he can attack from that second position. So that's kind of interesting. Again, don't totally love that. There's this Queen Massilia. She has the Amplify, so that's a little overkill with that card there. But she's a nice combo. Give him some extra armor, give him the Amplified Thorns, and then it's a much lower play. Do they have any other snipers? So you got the Hunter Jacks who can't miss comboed here now with the Goblin. That's definitely an interesting little play. And then you have the Healing Archer. So now you can do like another healing setup. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they're good cards, but they're less impressive than some of the other ones that I saw. But they do have the dual summoner. We'll go ahead and add in the life team. So they have the green life, and then that's where things get kind of interesting. Like green doesn't really have a sneak team, but they do here on white. So you can add in the sneak team. You can add in the other weapons training cards for the lurker, for the puffer, and you can maybe play some other cards in the second position that would be interesting to give reach to. And the big thing is you can add Izzar. Izzar is so meta right now that you can put Izzar in that second position or that are on the board and then buff up some of these other cards. So that's the big play that I could see there. Definitely for the green team, you get the white team gets some added healers when you talk about green, so you can do some kind of crazy healing lineups. You can also get some nice mages. You can get some silences from their team when it comes to the Goblin Psychic having a silence. And I thought maybe there was one more, but that might have been an untamed card. Yeah, that's an untamed card, so we won't be able to use it. But we're going to go ahead and end it there. We're trying to go through these videos a little bit quicker than those first ones. And I'm going to go get some dinner. So thank you guys. And then I'll try to make the last couple videos here going over Death and Dragon and Life. And then the neutral cards right after this.